Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dr. Vince Presents. This is episode 6, and I am your host, Dr. Vince Leone. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I hope that I can deliver a lot of value for you today. And, today's topic is doctor's mindset, and we're going to talk about building a better morning. And, I focus for this particular show on three different what I call pillars in terms of the value that I provide. I focus on generating high quality new patients for practices, and primarily for niche doctors, right? Doctors that focus, it can be decompression, neuropathy, it can be sports, it could be knee pain, migraine headaches, but primarily trying to work with docs that focus on a niche, just because it's much easier to advertise those. So new patient generation for those practices. I focus on doctors' mindset, okay? Our practice cannot go higher than or larger than where our mind is at. It's like a thermostat set at 72. It will not go to 92 unless we're able to change that. So I focus on doctor's mindset, and then finally staff training and office systems. So we can get all the new patients we want, but if we cannot handle them properly, then they will not do business with us, right? They need to be treated efficiently. They need to get an excellent outcome. They need to have a very welcoming, friendly rapport with the front desk and the staff. And if we get those three things right, if we get a steady stream of high quality new patients, if we have a doctor's mindset in the right place so he's able to perform at his absolute best in terms of his game, and then if we have the staff and the systems to process these patients properly, we will have a practice that is out of the stratosphere, and you will blow everyone else out of the water. And I'm not just talking about other chiropractors. I'm talking about surgeons. I'm talking about medical doctors. I'm talking about physical therapists, massage therapists. Not really worried about them. You will be the creme de la creme in your in your town. So let's talk about doctor's mindset today, and we're going to talk about building a better morning. Very, very critical. So why is this important? Okay. So first of all, it sets the stage for the day. I mean, it's, I'm trying to think, what is a great analogy? It's like if you go into a football game and you don't put on your helmet, you don't put on your pads, and you just put on, your cleats, and you're running out for the game. And everyone's going to look at you like, you're not ready for this. You're not prepared for this. So that's kind of like starting your day, waking up late, rushing coffee and breakfast, half-assing getting kids ready for bed or for school. You're not ready for the day, right? You're not walking in confident, prepared, with a plan, all that stuff. So it sets the stage for a successful day, okay? So the next thing is it's something to look forward to the night before, right? When we go to bed, what we think about lastly, the very last thing we think about is typically what we dream about and what we put into our subconscious mind, right? So if we put into our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind will really just think about anything that we put into it, right? It will just go to work onto it. So if we go to bed thinking, how can I have a great day? So I have a great day at practice, in the practice, generating new patients, generating new revenue. If we put that into our mind before we go to bed, it's going to the subconscious is just going to go to work on that. If we go to bed thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills? I just had a fight with my wife or my spouse. My kid is not, or kids, not acting the way I want them to. If we put that into our mind and our subconscious before we go to sleep, then that's what it's going to go to work on. And it's going to go in the wrong direction. The subconscious mind does not have like a compass. It's not going to intuitively point north or in the positive direction. In fact, the research has shown, if anything, we are going to essentially go in the negative factor, or in the negative direction. We're going to essentially beat ourselves up. We're going to essentially think we are not going to be able to do something versus we are going to be able to do something, unless we've trained it to think in that manner. And so that's why the doctor's mindset is so critical. So something to look forward to the night before is like, if we put that into our brain, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to, this is my plan. This is what I'm going to do first, then second, then third. Then I'm going to sit down and do this. And the reason why we're going to do this is because we want to have this to have happen over the next day. If we put that into our mind before going to bed, one, probably going to sleep better because it's a much more positive statement. And two, that's what the subconscious mind is going to start to work on while you sleep. You have to take advantage of the subconscious. It's a massively powerful tool that literally probably less than 5% of the entire U.S. ever utilizes, right? And if you think about it, what do millionaires and billionaires use more than anybody else? Their mind. Okay, so if you want to think like a millionaire, you want to think like a billionaire, start using these methods. So building a daily routine. When we have a solid daily routine, in other words, things that we're going to do for ourselves, no matter what, every single day, as much as we can, we are making deposits in a future positive self, in a future that is much bigger than the present. Okay, so if and we have to be patient, right? It's like compound interest, and Einstein said that the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. And what's really interesting is it does not necessarily just mean money, right? Compound interest can be exactly what we're talking about today, creating a daily routine, or in this case, a morning, that's going to pay dividends, 6 months, 1 year, 6 years, 25 years in the future, right? And it's accumulation of those continual great mornings that's going to have a positive cumulative effect. You will see returns that day, right? Because you're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel more prepared, put together, and so you will feel the positive benefits. But the compounded interest in terms of the really big returns that you're going to see are going to be in the future. And so we are every single day. Every time you make a good decision for yourself, like your health, your personal, your mental and emotional outlook, your finances, every time you make a good decision today, you're making a deposit in your future positive self, right? And so it's when I started thinking about that, and that influenced my, every single decision I make on, in terms of myself, it had a really huge impact, and it made the decisions I made much more or much better for myself. When I think of like health, it's like, okay, in terms of diet, okay, what am I going to have for lunch or dinner? When I put that through that little filter, in terms of, okay, is this going to create a better positive future or a not so good positive or not so great positive or future? It's like, then it's like, oh, okay, it puts more weight to it, right? It's like, okay, am I going to have this diet soda? No, I'm not going to have that diet soda. All those types of things. We're making deposits for our future. Okay, and then finally, our lives are made up of good years, good months, good weeks, good days, and good hours, right? And so if we can just focus on having a great morning, and then our next step is going to be making a great day. But right now, we're just focusing on the morning. That's what our lives are made up of. Our lives a great life is made up of just great days, great experiences, okay? And so that's why this is so important. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's critical. So first thing, just wake up 1 hour early, okay? I have kids. I have two beautiful daughters, Gemma and Sienna, 7 and 4. They are the light of my life. I love them, love them, love them dearly. And I know that if like when they're like when they're up and going, I am kind of at their whim. I am taking care of them. And they wake up at 7. So I know that I need to wake up at least 1 hour early. And I'm kind of trending this a little earlier, but and we'll go into when I wake up. But right now I'm pretty much up and going by 6 a.m. So I have a little bit before that, but I need at least an hour for myself so that I can take care of everything, that I need to start my day right, And so I wake up 1 hour early. When I think of 1 hour early, it's 1 hour before my daughters are up. So first thing, hydrate, right? So I want to pound water, and I use apple cider vinegar with my, I do that twice a day, morning and night. And you can look into apple cider vinegar and the benefits of alkaline, creating alkaline in your environment in your body and all that type of stuff. You probably already know it, but my first 16 ounces is between 8 and 16 ounces is with apple cider vinegar. But the point being is you need to hydrate, right? So if you go to bed at 10, you wake up at 6, that's 8 hours that you have not drank any water whatsoever. And so that's not good. Matter of fact, they say that when you are dehydrated, and it doesn't mean like you're crawling through the desert here. It's like if you have not drank enough water that day, your mental acuity can be reduced by as much as 30%. That's a lot. Okay? You are not playing at the top of your game if you are not hydrated. So the first thing, we hydrate. We brush our teeth. We want to brush our teeth because if we brush our teeth, it's starting the day. It's just good health. You want to have good oral hygiene, right? So brush your teeth, get that done. So we wake up 1 hour early, and if you have trouble getting up in the morning, 2 options for you. One, take your alarm clock and put it on the other side of the darn room. Okay, get your butt out of bed to go pick up that clock and keep your butt moving towards the bathroom. Okay, so and in the bathroom you're going to have your change of clothes, so you can have your workout clothes, or you can have just sweats if you're not going to work out in the morning, but put the alarm clock on the other side of the room and get your butt out of bed, pick up that alarm clock, and keep walking to the bedroom or to the bathroom. Get out of the bedroom. Okay, and in the bathroom, this is what you do the night before. Put a big glass of water, and like for me, the apple cider vinegar right there. So big glass of water, pound that, brush the teeth, and then you go right into the into starting. We'll go into more detail, but these are just the first things you do. Okay, put the alarm clock across the room. The other thing is there's an app if you're so inclined. Just looking it up, I want to get the name right here. Sleep Cycle, very cool. It will you put. Okay, I want to wake up at 6 o'clock, and it's going to give you a range, and it's kind of cool because you put your phone next to your bed and with the microphone facing you, and it's going to track your sleep, and it will give you stats on your sleep in terms of when you're in deep sleep and how much you're in deep sleep and how long you slept and all this type of stuff. And it's it's a pretty cool app, and there's a paid version. It's not that expensive. I'd encourage you to get that. So, but if you don't like the loud beeping alarm clock, you can do this, and what it will do is it will find, so if you choose, say, 6 a.m., it's going to give you a range. I think it's like half an hour between 5:45 and 6:15, it is going to essentially determine when you are essentially coming up out of your deep sleep, right? Because we kind of fluctuate, as we get towards morning time, we tend to fluctuate out of deep sleep. So it's going to find the time when you are most apt to be woken up nicely, right? And it's not going to play the beep, beep, beep. It's going to do, there's one like with harps and like, birds. I don't know. There's several different options. If I use it, I use the harp. It's very gentle, and it's just, it's like, one of those big ass harps that they play. And so it's a very gentle way to wake up. So that's another option. Okay, so that's what we're going to do first thing in the morning. And then we're going to have a plan. Okay, so our plan is, and for me, I got some recommendations here in a second, but, I want to, I'm going to make my coffee, right? And I use bulletproof coffee. And if you're not familiar with bulletproof coffee, I've kind of talked about this in the past, but highly encourage this, right? Now this may sound weird if you're not, but so bulletproof coffee. First of all, the coffee is tons better than American coffee. And what I mean by that is, in most coffees in the U.S., it has mycotoxins, and it's actually kind of works as like a kind of like an excitotoxin, that aspartame is like, and these mold, it's a mold, it grows in coffees. Anyways, I don't want to get into the coffee and all. Just do some research. Just benefits of bulletproof coffee. What's a mold toxin? Look into it. It would behoove you to look into that if you're a coffee drinker. So I don't drink anything but bulletproof coffee. And then you put in this highly concentrated coconut oil and ghee, which is essentially like butter. And so you get some really, really good fats, which again, look into it. It's all really, really good. It's a great way to start your day. So I'm get my coffee going, and I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to write out my goals. And these are my long-term goals, right? These are my 12-month goals. And there's not a lot of them, right? I just have literally like five main goals. It's business, it's some personal stuff, and it's health. So these are the things we want to I want to focus on, right? And that's typically what I in my life. I have my business, I have my family life, and I have my health life. Those are the three pillars. Those are three buckets that I focus on. I don't try to get too crazy. Then I have some affirmations, right? Just simple affirmations, and then plan. What is the plan for the day? What do I want to get accomplished that day, right? And I don't have 50 million things. It's usually 3, no more than 5. Okay, because if you think about it, if every day you had 3 kind of big things you wanted to accomplish, and then at the end of the week you had 15 big things accomplished, that's a pretty good week, right? So don't overburden yourself. And this isn't like, one of your things to do that day is not go adjust patients. I hope that is clear. No, it's like, I want to launch my, Facebook campaign for, car accident patients or whatever, it's those types of things. Okay. So goals, affirmations, plan. All right. So that's what you want. That's what I always want to do. I want to sit down. I'm going to write in my journal. These are my goals. These are the affirmations I'm going to have. And I have the plan for the day. Things I want to get accomplished that day. Now, a couple recommendations here. Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I hope I spelled that name right. Good little book. He has what's called savers. That's his anagram. I think anagram is that the term. I think it is. Anyways, savers. So silence for meditation, A for affirmations, V for visualize, E for exercise, R to read, and S. What is the S for? Oh, scribe, to write in your journal. Good book. 10X Planner by Grant Cardone. Really good journal. I really like this because and it's not cheap. It's like $20 or whatever. But and you get a discount if you buy like 3 or 5 or something like that. But the point being, on the right side, you have a section for your goals. You have a quote of the day, targets you want to hit, what your successes were for that day. Right? We want to keep track of those, and then goals again. So you write your goals in the evening time, and then on the left you have your day broken out. Right? I think it's like every 3 to 4 hours, something like that. And so where you can write, okay, this is where I want this to happen, and this I have a meeting here, and blah 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 blah. So you can plan out your day. Right? Really good stuff. So I highly recommend that. And then 5-minute journal. They got a physical journal, and then they have an app. I use the app because I already have the 10X Planner. So, but if you don't use that, you may want to use the journal. And all of them have places for gratitude and successes. And we always want to, just as a side note, always good. Hey, write 3 things that you're thankful for. Want to show gratitude. You get more of what you are thankful for. But I use the app. Okay, 5-minute journal app. I think it's free actually, and you can just boom each day. Hey, this was let's see what did it have. I'll just go real quick here. So you can add a little image, write the morning entry, which is let's see here. Yeah, I'm grateful for 3 things. What will I do to make today great? And daily affirmations. So you can use I just use a combination of these. So those are some recommendations. And so this is what I do. This is my morning routine. So wake up at 5:45, and that I want to have everything before I sit down. To work with my journal, I want to have teeth brushed, hydrated, and coffee going. Okay, so that I want to be able to literally sit down at 6 and have a full 60 minutes before my kids wake up. So 5:45, clocks across the room, get my butt out of bed, go on to the bathroom, brush, hydrate, and then I do coffee, and then I do my goals, sit down, work my plan. Do some meditation, about 10 minutes of meditation. I use an app called Calm, really cool app. It has tons of different meditations. Anything that you kind of want to achieve, meditate. If you're not doing meditation, dude, give yourself the gift of meditation. It's freaking cool. Just because it's like, this is time just for you, right? And they have different, like the 7-day focus on, it can be just reducing anxiety or gratitude or goal setting or whatever it is. They have tons of different, kind of programs for you. Or they have a daily one where you can just, let them guide you. But meditate, and it's just like 10, 12 minutes, right? So we don't have to take an hour and chant om, om, om. It's just meditation is really, it's more the practice of just kind of being present, right? Trying to push out the noise and just kind of, focus on the breath, and then just start to focus then on the theme for that particular meditation. Really good stuff. If you don't do it, it's great. Exercise. Then I try to exercise for at least 15 minutes, and then time-wise, it's tough on time. I try to kind of break this up into roughly 10 to 15 minutes per, and then I try to read. And my goal is always to read a book a week, and then to get to that number, I have to read about an hour a day. And I love reading, so this is not something I'm forcing myself. It's like, how do I carve out this time to give myself the opportunity to read? There's just so much great information in books. It just baffles me when people do not read, because it's like, and they wonder why they're struggling. It's because if you're not taking the basic steps of learning information from the masters that have come before you, you're just kind of blowing it, right? So you got to highly encourage you. If you're not a reader, be a reader. So I try to get an hour a day. And so I try to get in 15, 20 minutes in the morning. And then I try to chunk out another 20 minutes, right, around lunch, and then another 20 minutes at the end of the day. That way I try, I most likely am going to get my hour. And then finally, look, give yourself permission to do it not perfectly every day, right? You may wake up a little later. You may not get all of your things done. But what I would say is, look, pick the things that are the most important. Get your plan, get your goals, get your affirmations, like whatever seems to be most important to you. Do those first. But don't beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up. If you don't get them all done, or you wake up a little late, or whatever it is, do not grab the stick and start beating yourself over the head, because that will then just create a negative connotation around the whole darn thing. This is an ongoing process. We are continuing to try to hone ourselves, improve ourselves, shine that diamond, and just get better and better and better just every day. Every day, just try to get a little bit better. If that's your process, the 1%, I think the Japanese or the Chinese call it Kaizen or something like that. It's like 1%. They're just trying to improve 1% every day, just a little bit. Then at the end of the day, and at the end of the week, and at the end of the month, and at the end of the year, you're going to be crushing it. So if this was helpful for you, if you're interested in learning more about myself and what I do and what I offer, because I obviously have a consulting company called Leone Consulting, couple options for you here. So you can go to www.nichemasteryvip.com, and that's going to give you an opportunity to essentially get a free blueprint for an advertising campaign for your practice. Okay, so what we do in this is, good Lord, I'm getting notifications left and right. I got a call with a client coming up, so I'm going to wrap this up. Point being is, this is an opportunity for you to get that out of there, to get on the phone with me. We're going to talk about your practice, where you're at, where you want to be, in 6 to 12 months, what you're doing now to get there, and how I can help you. Right. And again, most of the doctors I work with are in these niches. So we're going to look at, okay, how can we advertise this and use kind of like the big boy advertising? So Facebook, great. Facebook. Yeah. If you're, I offer Facebook. I just don't think it's the most greatest thing in the world, like a lot of people do. I like radio. I like TV. I like, big print ads, those types of things that essentially put you at the top of the food chain in your town. And so we dig into your market after having that conversation with you, me and my producer at the ad agency that I partnered with to bring you these high level things. We dig into your market and find out, hey, what's going to be best for you? And so then we're going to come back to you and say, hey, this is the best route for you based on your goals, based on where you're at, where you want to be, how to get there. Okay, very cool stuff. And it is free. Finally, leoneconsulting.co. Now that's not .com, it's .co. leoneconsulting.com I think was about 30 grand. So it's kind of ridiculous. But so at leoneconsulting.co you can get a free report. And this is for docs that are just looking, hey, I want to make more money in my practice. How do I do that? 3 strategies to increase revenue in your practice, right? Great strategies, great report. It's only about 20 pages. You can read it at lunch and start implementing and start making more money. So you can find that at leoneconsulting.co. Okay, guys. Hey, thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope this was valuable for you. So I'm Dr. Vince Leone. This was Dr. Vince Presents, episode 6 of The Doctor's Mindset, Building a Better Morning. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.